All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the SilmFilm Script Discussion Season 2, Episode 7, Part 4. We have almost started making our way through Act 2. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. It's beautiful. Okay, so if we have... so maybe something comes down in Aqualande due to different building practices. Indus, or maybe there's just a labor dispute. Indus bridges the gap in some way. Right?
So is Indus visiting Aqualande and involved, or is Finway frustrated as the, oh my God, imagine these Teleri are just so annoying to work with, blah, 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 blah. I thought I loved them, but I hate them now.
So, well, what I'm thinking is that this could be happening in, like, we could see the council hall where Feanor is eventually going to draw his sword.
Mm-hmm.
And Finway's there, and Matan's there, and Always there, and Finway is trying the best he can, and he's super frustrated, but he's trying the best he can to make Alway understand what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
And Alway just doesn't get it. He's like, I don't understand why. Like, why can't the people just build things where they want to build them? That doesn't make any sense, what you're saying.
So she translates. She's able to make the Teleri understand the Noldor.
And vice versa.
Yeah, she's able to bridge that gap. And she's allowed to speak at this conference because she's Ingway's daughter.
Right.
She belongs in this group on that level.
Yes. Yes. So it's a good thing that she's Ingway's daughter now, huh? Anyway.
No, it's not. But if she's going to be, I'm going to make use of it.
There we go. Is there an actual language division at this point? I feel like if there's a language divide, it's like the divide between British English and American English, where, like, if you say lorry, the average American has no idea what you're talking about. I can't think of, I don't know of things that, I don't know.
Rubbish, we say trash.
Yeah, I don't know if there's things that Americans say that are just completely untranslatable to British people because our television is everywhere. But you understand this perfectly. Yeah, that's because our pop culture is everywhere, whereas the reverse isn't necessarily true. I know these things because I watch things like Top Gear from BBC, so I know about the boot and the bonnet of the car, which the bonnet makes sense, at least, because hood, bonnet, it's a thing that goes over your head. Boot makes no sense. Trunk makes sense. Sorry. Anyway, so moving on.
The point is, yes, the Teleri should have some words of their vocabulary that are slightly different, but overall, there's not an actual language barrier at this time.
Difference in the word. You said the word quite, yeah. Brandon says that she's the translator from English into geek and back again. Those people are super useful. Okay. So, yeah, I think that makes sense.
So Finway admires her response to the situation. He recognizes her skill set, and it's kosher because this is an official event with all the people there. This isn't him seeking her out, but it is a spark to the, oh, I've just noticed this person now.
Yeah. Why does Feanor hate this? Because he has to. Well, no, he hates this because he already doesn't like Indus.
Well, is Feanor involved in any of the building of Aqualande?
I don't think so. I don't think we can trust him with that. He's blowing things up.
I know, but I mean, he's going to destroy Aqualande.
Okay. So, all right. So then
Finway starts talking about Indus all the time. From this point on, Finway's conversation is Indus this, Indus that, Indus is the most amazing, wonderful.
Yes.
And Feanor hates that.
Yes.
Is that
because
okay?
He's used to, because he's used to Finway talking about the stuff he's doing all the time. and and maybe Feanor tries to show dear old dad something, and he's
hey, Indus, come check this out.
Yeah, this lady again. When are you leaving?
Right. So Feanor's done with her and wants her to go, and Finwë can't get enough of her and wants her to stay.
Right.
So now Finwë and Feanor aren't on the same page on something, which is new for them. They've mostly been going through this together, even if Feanor's a little difficult to control.
Do you think that Feanor's a pretty outspoken guy. Does he really not say anything about this?
He has no reason to keep his mouth shut.
Right.
So, but he's also not an idiot. And if his father keeps praising Indus, he knows that Finwë likes and respects her.
Yeah.
So he disagrees. Yeah, he might be more moody teen about it than...
That's true.
Specifically, I'm just Finwë, I want her gone.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just worried because here's the thing: does Feanor really care about that? Is he empathetic enough to care about Finwë's feelings in this particular case?
Empathy is not something I associate with Feanor.
No.
But seeing to the heart of a person is. So usually he uses that against you because he's not empathetic. But he does see very quickly. So he will know that Finwë likes Indus before Finwë knows.
Okay.
He will immediately know.
So maybe instead of actually addressing the situation, he keeps trying to make cooler stuff to get his dad's attention back. And every time that he does that, it's still about Indus.
No, not Mead this time. Probably he invents Tengwar right about now, so that he can write his angsty teenage treatise. On how the world, which means we need Rumil.
Yes.
And I think Rumil's main role has to be to totally disapprove of this whole remarriage idea.
Okay.
He has to be one of the people who hates it, which would make it seem like he's buddy with Feanor because they'd have the same view, but not. He also hates Feanor.
This is getting very complicated. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No. You're right. You're definitely right. Okay. So,
where's Karita when we need her?
Rumil sounds like a Noldoran ale. Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay.
He's not. No, sorry. Rumil is not all sour grapes.
No, he's a little
He's
goofy,
just a historian,
actually.
So he's a little bit outside of things. He's not. Corey Olsen specifically asked that we use the Lost Tales characterization of Rumil. So someone's going to have to go back and read up on Rumil in Lost Tales to figure out what he's like.
I have Lost Tales. Oh wait,
I have it, but I haven't read it in years.
Yeah, is it Lost Tales or Unfinished Tales that's in the History of Middle Earth?
History of Middle Earth, Volume 1 and 2 is Lost Tales.
Is Lost Tales. So I do have it. Okay. So I need to actually read that.
Right. So I don't know what happens there. He wants them to be a little bit of a comic character. So we do have opportunities for hilarity ensues when Rumil is on screen. But I don't.
Okay, I have an idea. What if Feanor is not involved in the meeting where
he's not there?
Is awesome. Well, what if he is like on a balcony? Not a balcony. What are those things? Like those catwalks that are on the sides of big halls like that. There's a word for that. I don't remember what it is. Balcony, but if he's up there observing this and he's clearly unhappy that Indus seems to be inserting herself even more into the doings of their of their city, and Rumil is like, what if Rumil's like, not like the court jester, but if he's like the bard, you know, he's like the Noldor's version of a bard, and he makes some like funny rhyme about Feanor's angry face.
So Rumil would call attention to the fact that Feanor is not happy in that scene?
Yes. And
I like that.
Rumil sees right through him, and it makes Feanor so angry that he publicly humiliates Rumil.
By inventing better script.
Yes.
That's an interesting way of one-upping somebody. Your writing system is stupid. I'm making my own.
No, this is more like, you made fun of my vulnerability, so I am going to publicly
destroy your career.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
nobody said that Feanor wasn't vindictive.
Yeah. So a little bit of Feanor's vindictive streak is going to come through in this interaction. Yes. But it also shows that when he puts his mind to something, he creates beautiful things. The Tengwar is much more elegant than the Sarati, so there's no question that Feanor's script is better.
Yeah. So having Rumil be pro in this, which is why Feanor takes him down, which is another. Oh,
Rumil could be pro Indus at this point, because no one should recognize that there's anything going on between Indus and Finwë yet, other than possibly Feanor. Right. But since Rumil doesn't know, he could praise Indus for solving the dispute and being able to speak geek or whatever.
Right.
And at the same time mention glowering Feanor. So like you can get both. You can get the insult towards Feanor and the praise of Indus into Rumil's meeting notes. I don't know what Rumil's doing there, but essentially
what I'm seeing is that he's part of the household in a way.
Yes, he's part of the court. This is a court scene.
Right, and exactly.
I don't mean legal court. I mean king's court.
Yeah, no, I understand what you meant. And because he's what's his face's scribe, it's possible that he chose this spot like as a vantage point where he could see everything that's going on.
Yes. Okay, and so if he's a scribe, he's writing stuff down, so we'll see Rumil's writing in this scene.
Yes.
So we'll see a page of Sarati, and he'll recite the little quip about Indus or the little quip about Feanor. Like, we'll hear that, but we'll see the page of the writing. The next time we see Feanor, he's writing in his own elegant script that doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah. And we have to establish that Rumil has invented this script. And so, like, maybe when Feanor presents the script to Finwë, Finwë's like, well, yeah, but Rumil already invented something. I mean, this is great. This is cool. And maybe it's Rumil himself who looks at it and is just awestruck.
Yeah, Tengwar is very nice.
Yes.
It's a very versatile way of, you could use it on any language.
Yeah.
And it's left to right and all that. Sarati is more, it's up and down. So it's like lines up and down, and you just put marks on the line going up and down. I think it's bottom to top and right to left for Sarati. I don't know. I don't actually know Sarati, so it's a little trickier. But
who does?
Who does? Oh, there's a website. What's the guy's name on that website?
Maybe Christopher Tolkien.
No. Oh, no. I think it must have been published in one of the Parma Eldolab.
No, as somebody who knows.
Yeah, people who are into Tolkien linguistics know this stuff. which is a very small subset of people who like Tolkien.
Yes.
Very small.
Which is a very small subset of people.
Right. But considering the SilmFilm project is also a very small subset of people who like Tolkien, I can't really point fingers.
Yes.
The Elvish Linguistic Society has more members than we do.
I'm working on it. All right. Anyway,
yes.
So we get so the next scene that we see from Feanor is Feanor feverishly designing his new writing system, and maybe after that we get like a quiet conversation scene between Indus and Finwë, where we start to see.
Yeah, that should be happening at the same time. Feanor is off inventing Tengwar. Indus and Finwë talk. And in that scene, should we see that Indus is into Finwë?
I mean, I think we like, how do we not? Like, we should at least see it. Like, even if they don't admit it, like, we need to get this deal done, as Alex says. This needs to happen.
Right.
Like,
but I mean, they're not going to kiss in this scene, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with them not kissing.
But they have to be into each other.
They have to be making googly eyes at each other. Like,
okay, there are googly eyes in this scene. Okay. So the reason I said they can't kiss is that, I mean, they could, but this is a taboo thing.
Yes.
So even though she's into him, she has to realize, like, oh, now what? You're right. If they were just drunk and making out, that would be so much quicker. But the point is, this is already supposed to be scandalous. We don't need to, like, add a level of scandal to it. We have to convey to the audience that it's scandalous for a different reason.
Brandon says that no one will be seated during the dramatic scene of Feanor inventing a writing system. All right. So we get...
It doesn't have to be a long scene. We don't have time. Clearly, we have to spend time on... I just...
No. He was making a joke.
I know.
Do you?
I think Tengwar's pretty awesome.
All right.
It's quite beautiful.
I agree. I don't disagree. You'll get no argument from me there. It would help explain the scandal to the audience if it was more modernly relatable.
I know, but I think we want there to be an elvish scandal that doesn't look scandalous to the viewer.
Right, I agree.
And so to show how elvish culture is so different. Like, I'm fine with Feanor and Nerdinel meeting each other out in the woods,
having
waiting for streams, taking their clothes off and going for a swim, and, the next scene they're married. Nothing formal and something that could even look scandalous to the viewer. And the Noldor are like, yeah, I guess Feanor chose a wife.
And they do have a bunch of kids in relatively short order, so something's going on. Anyway,
where I was going is that if we want to show what would look to the viewer like a scandalous relationship, go with Feanor and Nerdinel, and then have the elves not think it's scandalous at all.
Okay, so we get, because we have to explain why this is a problem.
Yes.
And we need to do that quickly. So we need to have... I mean, where do we go? Like, they need to have an agreement that they're at least agreeable to the idea of getting married before one of them goes to the Valor and says, "Hey, by the way, would you mind changing this law of creation for us? We'd appreciate that. Thank you very much."
All right, this is going to be a terrible suggestion, so bear in mind that you're allowed to shoot this down right away. Sick.
Go on.
Maria is the governess to the children.
Yeah.
She falls in love with the widowed Von Trapp.
I have 3 sisters. I've seen this movie a million times. Go on.
Right. When she realizes that, when she's talking to the fiancé, she immediately flees the house. She's like, I got to get out of here. I didn't realize I was in love with him, but now that I do realize,
And she makes that exact face.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the movie a million times too. So she runs back to the convent at that point. Where I'm going with this is that Indus, if we have a googly eye scene, Indus's reaction could be to go home to Valmar. She could leave because she's worried that she's about to commit a taboo and do something, disrespect her dead friend's wishes or something. You know, she could be nervous at that point.
Okay.
Finway would miss her and invite her back, and then when they talked, they could resolve it and say, we need to go to the Valor about this.
I have a worse idea. All right, you ready? So,
all right.
She flees back to Valmar.
Okay.
He wakes up the next morning and she's gone. She's nowhere to be found. And so he goes after her.
Right.
What's to do? And
Ingwe has something to say about this.
Ingwe has something to say about this. Nienna already knows that Finway's been in pain. So they're right there. They're in Valmar now. The Valar are a lot more present there than they are in Tyrion. And Feanor brings it up to Ingwe. Oh, that's so sneaky and underhanded. I like it. It's sneaky and it just might work. Anyway, so that was high pitched. Anyway, that's a good idea. While Feanor is trying to get Indus to see him.
Finway. Well, Finway is trying to get Indus to see him.
Finway is trying to get Indus to see him. Feanor has traveled with him and gently drops the hint to Ingwe that something might be going on there. I don't know.
Right. So...
And the Feanor Ingwe scene is what explains the taboo to the audience. Yes. Yes. And, you know, like, I don't know if, I don't think I want to have, I kind of want to, but don't want to have a scene of Indus and Finway talking through a closed door. I mean, it's done. It's something that happens all the time now, but...
if you wanted to avoid that, like she could be on a balcony and he could be under the balcony talking up to her or something. Like you can physically separate them and still have them able to see each other. Yeah, I'm obviously getting a little too musical theater inspired here.
Yeah. All right. So... Nienna has known that Finway is in pain, and could say something. Could step in and say something to the effect of, "You should, you know, if this concerns you." She could like pop up out of nowhere. If this concerns you, you should take this to the Valar. Don't get me wrong, I totally want a musical episode. I just don't think it's this one. On that note, I think we should take a break real quick. If you're watching, Finway, wherefore art thou, Finway? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. What's in the name? Anyway, so if you're watching this live, we'll be back in a few minutes. If you're watching this on YouTube later, hello, future people. Feel free to like and share the videos if you like and want to share them. And definitely subscribe if you're new and you haven't yet, because obviously if you weren't new, you would have by now. We'll be back in a second.